Go ahead and take some deep whiffs. What does this smell like being here in Driscoll Park? And if you were an animal would maybe move its face from side to side or up and down looking for different scents. Maybe it smells different on the left than it does from the right. Forest bathing, simply put, is a meditative, slow nature walk where you're absorbing nature with all of your senses. Okay, we're gonna gather in a circle in this area. Trees and plants emit something called phytoncides, and those are organic compounds. It's a communication method. All of these organisms around us, they all communicate with each other, both through the air and under the ground. All of these are connected. They call it the wood wide web. They're all connected with mycorrhizal fungi, little filaments. Everybody's talking to each other and taking care of each other. So we are basically in the community of these trees right now.
When my wife and I moved to this area at first, I came from Pittsburgh and she from Dominican Republic. And one of the important things for me is to live nearby parkland. So that's kind of what attracted us to Hyattsville, is that we have so many beautiful parks around here. My son has learned to climb trees, and he loves being outdoors in nature just as much as I do.
Over the past decade, Hyattsville has lost between 30 and 40% of their tree canopy. Lots of land that was once untouched, forested, has been removed or is about to be clear-cut to make way for the forests of townhouses that are being planned right now. Trees are the lungs of our community. It's a serious thing when we see that percentage of a decline in such a short time. It's quite heartbreaking. Some of these trees have been around since possibly the Civil War, and when they are removed, it's almost like removing the best friend. But it's heartbreaking to see older trees removed.
I think as a council, we have to try to find the right balance. We recognize that here in the city of Hyattsville, we are inside the Beltway and close to a major metropolitan area, and there is a need for new housing and commercial spaces. I think that the balance we're trying to strike is ensuring that new developments are going to include a nice tree canopy, and when trees are being removed, that they're being replaced within the area. But what we recognize is it takes many decades for a tree to grow to a mature height where it gives you all of the benefits of soil stabilization and habitat. And so that's part of that balance, is if any opportunity we have to preserve mature trees, we can save some of that time span that it takes to planting new seedlings that take a long time to grow up to that size.
So the Shade Tree Board assists the city arborist in planning the preservation of and the maintenance of city trees. We also help the city arborist approve or deny tree permits. So if there's a large tree on your property, you're required to get a tree permit for its removal. Is the tree diseased, or is it a perfectly healthy tree and the owner just wants to remove it for whatever reason? So we'll actually evaluate the trees and give the city arborist our report, and then they will go and do a follow-up evaluation, and it's voted on whether the permit is denied or approved.
The Department of Public Works has a huge responsibility in taking care of all of the trees in the public right-of-way. That's consistent throughout the year, just not in the summer and spring, but also right now in our lovely winter, where we're pruning and we're making sure that all of our street trees and our parks trees are healthy, well, and thriving.
I wanted to just kind of do a little bit of education on trees themselves and how to identify them and just kind of their impact on stormwater. And I've hung some signs out. So these little incisions here are the result of the cicada. That is the oviposit markings from a cicada. So if you can just pass those around, I'll probably run into some more. This is another black tupelo here, and a sweet gum, another sweet gum, and you can see the gum balls. This one is a willow. Over here, when we walk across the bridge, you'll see weeping willow. Willow is our native. Weeping willow is not native, but the weeping willows are the ones that reach down. Does anybody know what this tree is? See, that looks like a flower that looks like that? Tulip. So this is a tulip poplar. A tulip will intercept in 1 year 11,264 gallons of water. So this is one of the big reasons why I wanted to educate our residents, is because a lot of times we don't understand what these trees are doing for us, and particularly when you have flooding issues, and where we have that a lot here in the city. You know, trees are doing a big job for us, and so we want to plant them wherever we can.
So currently the city has a system, it's a computer system called iTree. It's a tree mapping really specifically to target areas that we are able to plant new trees. We can identify those new areas, plant those new trees, and successfully bolster our existing canopy for the next 50 to 100 years.
We're here in Driscoll Park today, planting trees with the American Heritage Girls. We've planted over 9 trees today, and it is so great to see the kids out here learning about environmental sustainability.
So on Nicholson Street, the west side of Hyattsville, adjacent to Feligy Elementary School, we have installed a number of silvacells to help trees grow appropriately within the urban environment and specifically within the right-of-way. Helps to stop them lifting the sidewalks up, helps them survive a whole lot longer than they typically do.
This home was built in 1840. It was visited by Abraham Lincoln, Ulysses Grant, Grover Cleveland. When I first saw the property, I knew I loved the architecture of Hitching Post Hill. But what struck me first was the architecture of the landscape that surrounds the home. We were pleased to find out that we had 5 state champion trees on the property. It almost felt like we were walking onto the property of an arboretum. It felt like we had this private little oasis inside the Beltway, and with these ancient trees, and it's just beautiful. We absolutely love it.
So currently there are 2 food forests within the city of Hyattsville, and DPW actually helped install this as well as maintain it. A couple of the notable trees, this little darling behind me is Sambuca, which is elderberry. There's mulberry tree here, there are black walnut, Juglans nigra, really cool tree, and lots of other plants that actually bear fruit.
My favorite type of tree will depend on the time of year. So around this time of year, we start to see some fruit trees, so pawpaws, which are really awesome native fruit that a lot of people are learning more about. I didn't know about them until moving to Hyattsville. You know, those are starting to become ripe, so you know, I love fruit trees.
If I had to pick one favorite tree on our property, which is tough to do, I would say I would pick the tulip poplar, which is close to the house. It's a very tall tree. I think it may have been struck by lightning at some point because there's a big crack in the base that has slowly been healing over.
I definitively have a favorite tree in Hyattsville. It's my big swamp white oak that is down at Driscoll Park. It's probably over 300 years old, and I go and talk to it regularly because it's my buddy. It's an amazing creature, it truly is.
Yeah, when we think about what Hyattsville might look like 20, 30, 50 years from now, and the value of trees in that picture, I think of the proverb that goes something like, a society grows great when old folks plant trees whose shade they know that they will never sit in. Kind of what that's referencing is that they know that future generations will enjoy that shade or that fruit or those colors in the fall that that tree will provide.
Okay, so we're gonna get in a circle under this tree. I hope you had fun playing in the forest. It's part of the Japanese practice of Shinrin-yoku to kind of end with a T. Can you just pass that to somebody? Oh, it's nice to have a helper. To close us, I'm going to read a poem that I like, and then I'm gonna ring my bell. And when I ring my bell, that's gonna be the sort of the end of the walk. This poem is called The Beauty of a Tree by Gabby Mack. Can there be anything more lovely than the beauty of a tree? Her leaves shimmering in the wind, dancing so gracefully. The strength of her mighty roots that grow deep into the earth. She's weathered every stormy gale for all that she's worth. Standing tall, resilient, with her branches lifted high, she refused to bow, to break or bend, but reaches upward to the sky. The beauty of the strength within, as she held her head up high, her strong, resilient spirit grew wings and learned to fly.